In the past weeks, hydrogen fuel cell cars have been in the media again. However, is hydrogen pure speculation? Or definitive reasoning? Toyota revealed the FCV concept car costing $50 to $100,000 in 10 years' time. Hyundai stated that it will have a Nexo fuel cell vehicle on the market next year. Tesla's CEO Elon Musk recently said, "Hydrogen is quite a dangerous gas. It's suitable for the upper stage of rockets, but not for cars." The real question right now is, why are hydrogen fuel cell vehicles being developed? The idea for hydrogen fuel cell cars has been around for decades. World research working collaboratively trying to figure out a way to make it work. But despite these years of research and the investment of billions of dollars, the simplest and most usable solution that is currently available for a reasonable price is the battery electric car. Advocates of hydrogen mobility have two main benefits: reduces our dependency on foreign oil, and it will never run out, zero exhaust emissions, just water. We'll get populist and short-sighted politicians on the bandwagon, using the promotion of hydrogen mobility and the promise of even more billions of subsidies into the further development of hydrogen cars. The next question is, why shouldn't hydrogen fuel cell vehicles be developed? Sure. Hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe, and it's only used as an energy carrier, so it doesn't get used up in a fuel cell. It doesn't exist on our planet in a pure state, so it has to be extracted from compounds from which it doesn't really want to be separated, taking a lot of energy. Hydrogen would simply be made by splitting water into hydrogen and oxygen, but this proves too inefficient, so about 95% comes from fossil fuels. Also, it costs more energy than it will generate when reversed in the fuel cell. 6 units of coal energy are needed to produce 1 unit of hydrogen energy. As a result, a hydrogen car will not be environmentally friendly until the energy is generated from solar power or wind power, just like a battery electric vehicle. The practical issues against hydrogen fuel cell cars. A large amount of hydrogen is required to generate just a small amount of energy. As a result, cars would need huge tanks with hydrogen, or they'd have a very short range between fuel stops. Also, hydrogen is an extremely explosive and dangerous gas, which needs enormous and very strong tanks to be stored either as a gas or in liquid form. In order to find practical ways to store hydrogen, a lot of research still needs to be carried out, which will take at least another decade or two. Extremely dangerous and inefficient to distribute hydrogen by trucks driving to fuel stations. Experts consider the best and safest way to transport hydrogen is through an underground pipeline system, which not exactly a simple and cheap infrastructure to build. Is there a solution for clean hydrogen energy? It seems there's still a long way to go before hydrogen fuel cell vehicles will replace the internal combustion engine, if ever. First, we need to find a way to produce hydrogen in an efficient and environmentally friendly way. Secondly, need to find ways to store and distribute hydrogen safely and efficiently. After, we need to build an enormous and complicated infrastructure to distribute hydrogen to fuel stations that also still need to be built. Finally, the consumer needs to be convinced that they need to pay more for hydrogen than for gasoline. Who's pushing hydrogen fuel cell vehicles? Two forces pushing hydrogen fuel cell vehicles: oil companies and governments. Oil companies that are afraid that gas stations will become redundant once everybody can charge their long-range EVs at home or at the office. Of course, they have already researched hydrogen production and would like you to fill your hydrogen car up at one of their hydrogen fuel stations. Governments that on one hand want to prove they're environmentally conscious and not afraid to support upcoming technology, on the other hand, are afraid to lose one of their biggest cash cows: taxes and duties on gasoline and diesel, which can easily be levied on hydrogen when the technology is widely accepted. Automakers have already invested billions of dollars into the research for hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, which makes it a very difficult decision to admit they have run into a dead end. They'd rather continue making the public believe hydrogen mobility is only a decade away to completion, than invest in a fuel that is sustainable in the future.